Alright, y'all. So back by popular demand, got another beer review. This time we're looking at MKE IPA. It's got the Milwaukee flag, some pretty cool stuff on the bottle. And yeah, once again, drink responsibly, drink of age, that kind of stuff. Let's open this bad boy up. MKE is the brand, I think, the brewery. Yeah, MKE Brewing Co. So, we'll see. Typically I like IPAs. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty smooth. Pretty solid. Definitely has a hoppy hit to it. Yep. It's pretty solid. I like it. I'm still not taking up my Three Floyds Alpha King showdown there. Still not better than that. That stuff is top tier. You can't convince me otherwise. Yeah. I don't know. It's really good so far. Let's see, how could I describe it? Almost has like a lemon to it. There's some kind of citrus playing around in there. It's pretty light. Like for a what's the alcohol content on this bad boy? Because it tastes really light. However, I feel like it probably isn't. Let me say. Huh. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I guess on my rating scale, where this would fall, going out of 10, probably give it about a 7. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's just straight up enjoyable. It's not aggressive. And I like my beers a little more aggressive. I like kind of an interesting taste. But like whatever citrus is playing with it almost makes it seem like a line in Google's. And those are really smooth. So honestly, like whenever I have an IPA, I don't typically like the smooth. I expect there to be some kind of, hit to it, right? Something a bit different. So yeah. Yeah, alright. On the more, I guess you could say, average scale, I'd give it about a 9 out of 10. It's enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, it's a smooth one. Maybe one I might find myself coming back to. Yeah. I mean, can taste the third ward in it, I'll say that, for those of you who know Milwaukee. Third ward's kind of a little, I don't know. For something that embodies the Milwaukee spirit, I would thought it'd be more diverse. I just think like third ward when I have it, which is like the neighborhood kind of over that way. And third ward's cool. It's a little pricey, a little pretentious, but it's neat. Cool little shops that I can't afford. But yeah, I don't know how to put it. Now, if they made one that embodied the north of Milwaukee, like all the neighborhoods, that'd be cool, because like that's where you find something like people give a crap. How many dreams do I have? You got 3 dream catchers. Well, this is interesting. I just have a lot, man. I don't know. I got well, technically one's a medicine shield. Those 2 are I believe they're Navajo ones. Probably so I have a podcast with my friend, thank you, where I talked about this. So oh gosh, we're going into it. We're going into it. So essentially what happened was, so this is my friend. He's a very, I'll just leave traditional. He's very conservative. He's very traditional. You know, like, and well, I shouldn't even say traditional. He wears the MAGA hat like everywhere. Okay, and whether you're with that or you're not with that, I really don't care. But what you have to understand that's beautiful about this was I had a dream where I was in the library of where I did undergrad, and he called me up and he's like, yo, the KKK have taken all the waifus. And I'm like, what? The KKK have taken all the waifus? He's like, yes, we must save them. So then apparently he just comes, he's a whole arms dealer by now, right? And he's got like all these just these guns, and he comes, and then apparently we're like charging the library for some fucking reason, and like we're fighting our way up there because they have their stronghold. So we get to the final floor, and then somehow I have a JoJo stand and activate Zawaldo, okay, you know, the Dio one, and I defeat the Grand Wizard. It was really fucked up. That was a really fucked up dream I had. It was like a power fantasy dream. I'm trying to think of what other weird dreams I have. I don't know. What's your weirdest dream? Kind of want to know. Go guard. Yeah. I also got, I don't know if you can see them, but I got some masks. I just collect random stuff, so they're up there. They're just chilling. I got some on the other walls around. I have the fish tank, which you probably hear. I got some loaches in there. They're pretty cool boys. I really like them a lot. Yeah, I got some loaches. Got some Cory cats. Got some cichlids in there. Just smaller ones chilling. It's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, so I don't know if you came in kind of later. This is the MKE IPA. It's a Milwaukee one. It's got the Milwaukee flag, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know where you're from, but you know, if you're not from the United States or continental United States, it's north. That's almost like, you know, borderline in Canada, I guess. So yeah, that's that really. It's a pretty good one so far. It's really lemony. Not my favorite. I explained that earlier, and I will post this on the YouTube channel as well. I have to go on my rant. So, if y'all want to hear my rant. So normally what I do, I've been posting these videos, right? And I have like 2 parts to them. First part is like kind of, you know, I review the beer, I give it a scale from like a normal scale to a like average person scale. I've already done that. Or my scale. I think this hits about 7 out of 10. It's very unaggressive for an IPA. Which I really like, that more aggressive side of an IPA. Although I am feeling it now, I will say that. And about a 9 out of 10 on the average scale. It's very smooth. It's very good. Just not really 100% to my liking. Don't get me wrong, it's solid. Some good stuff. So, yeah, no. But my rant of all things, hear me out. Gonna get real preachy. Is the cesspool that is religious TikTok. Now, I'll be honest, it may not look like this. To an extent, although I'm not perfect, I would consider myself a religious person. Just given on, I guess, the lines, I would say I identify most Catholic of all kind of things, so laying that out there, putting that ground down. And let me just say, TikTok, if anyone's talking religion on TikTok, is the biggest cesspool ever. First off, let me start with the problem between the Protestants and the Catholics. Now, I don't know who instigated it, but for some reason, everyone who's, Catholic thinks all Protestants are mega church stuff, which isn't typically right. I mean, there's some elements that definitely can lean towards that way, but they all think it's heavily evangelical or even into the Kenneth Copeland weird kind of stuff, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. And the kind of stuff oh, I bought a jet and it gets me closer to God and I use my own people's money, that kind of stuff. Where then on the more Protestant side, you have people, saying oh, Catholicism is satanic and you're worshiping idols, the saints are idols, all this stuff, which really when you look in the belief system, they're no more really as a power importance than they would be in a Catholic teaching or a Protestant teaching. They're about the same power importance. They're special. They're people who a community has decided probably there's no way these people are going to go to hell, and they did some pretty cool stuff and basically mastered the way of God in their own way that they could to the best of their ability. That's all it means. Now, there's a bunch of different weird stuff with that and tradition and stuff that gets into that. But now we're getting into the weird stuff when we start looking at, and let me be clear, I'm not trying to out any religion. I'm not trying to say it's weird. I'm not trying to say it's, it's all a matter of perspective, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And you're raised in what you're raised in, or you find what you find in. And, if it works for you, great. I believe my path is true, but, other people might not. And, that's their life. That's how they want to live it. And, that's good on them, And, but when we start looking into more of the pagan side, it gets really weird. Especially going off Wicca. That's fine. They're not the aggressors. The weird one that popped out of nowhere is Norse talk. And let me tell you, it get toxic. And now I get, because there is a lot on the evangelical side attacking them and being yo, we're gonna pray you into, our way or whatever, and realizing a lot of these people came from a heavily evangelic background, and, that is what it is, right? That is what it is. And maybe they didn't have the fairest shake with that, and, they view all of what they have like that, so they went, a different path. And that's fine, You're an adult. You can do whatever the hell you want, within reason. As long as it's not hurting anyone, you have the freedom of a religion, downright, in America anyhow. And in most of the free world. There's some places out there still that's iffy, But my gosh, I don't know what happened, but it is a cringe fest. Like, they're going off on people. Like, turn the other cheek mentality, guys. Like, if someone's being a dick to you, just block them. Get rid of them. Or if you really want to change their mind and you want to go through that struggle, try to reason with them. But that might not always happen. The internet's the internet. People are people. But they will go the extra mile and, like, just cancel anyone. Anyone. It's crazy. And yet they're trying to say they're more the side of, a free speech kind of thing. And it's not so much them. I like the culture. I like how they're trying to bring in, despite it being a very ethnically driven religion and kind of, where it came from, they're bringing in people of all different backgrounds. And I really, really appreciate that. I think that is what every religion needs to be doing. But then you get the other side. And the other side, I would still even consider a lot of the values that like north side and the more pagan side, it's very center when we look at like a left-hand path, a right-hand path. And then you got the Satanists. And they're just, I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know if it's a joke or like what, because like, so I get it, it's not really, they typically don't believe in a devil, right? They don't believe really in anything. It's a lot of atheistic, you are your own highest power. But that doesn't give you the right to just crap on everyone else. And like everyone gets up about this. Like, it's even like pagan communities that are like, if I just want to, even going, you see a little bit of a Greek revival, or a Roman revival, like, if I want to burn some incense in front of a statue of Zeus, go ahead, but they're like, oh my gosh, you can't even do that. And it's just really weird. The whole thing is really weird. I feel like every side's at fault, and no side is really... There are a couple creators I can say from my side. One I really like on the Catholic side is, I believe she is like the hippie Catholic or something, and it shows a more progressive side of Catholicism that I think, by and large, gets really overlooked, given it probably is the more prevalent side right now. And like, I can only speak for, I guess, my own people. I don't want to speak for any of the other communities. Maybe that represents them totally fine, but I feel like it's just a bunch of voices that come out and just spew negativity and just want to beat each other down so much that... There's one guy. I wish I would have written these names down, right? I wish I would have done it. And he was one of the Norse talk guys, but he was very not involved in that. And he literally said something like, hey, he was drinking, mead in the horn like they all do in front of like a Celtic style cross. And he was like, hey, I'm just drinking one out for, my Christian brothers, like he's like, we don't have to fight. And I commented and I'm like, dude, that's beautiful. Thank you. You see so much negativity. I don't care what it is. If you want to pray for me in any religion, go ahead. What's it gonna do? Like, whether all this is real in the end or not. If you're giving blessing to someone, if you're giving good things to someone, I don't think that's in vain. And no one is gonna fault you for that. I mean, it's what it is. And if it's in good faith and it's in good, standing, I think that's totally okay. And we should be more appreciative of that. And I know some people will say it is the same because it's Abrahamic religion, but I think one of the most beautiful things I ever heard, just in modern, just the modernity of everything and I don't know how to describe it, but, one of my parents had a coworker and they were, Islamic. They were of the Muslim faith. And, they were, I forgot what one of my parents was going through. And they're like, I know it's not your God or whatever, I know, or it's debatable, there's a whole Allah versus Abba versus, whatever, whatever side or whatever values it holds, whichever way. And I think it was really beautiful because they're like, yo, I'm going to pray for you. You can take them or not. And not saying it's a currency or not saying it's anything, but it's like, it's just nice, we should be embracing that attitude rather than this attitude of, a very certain subgroup of people distorted a belief and now I'm gonna hate on them, or there's I don't know, just or we got people who are different, so we're gonna hate on them, or we're gonna say we're the better ones because we're just cut it out. No one cares. No one cares. No one should care. It's just as long as you're doing what you're doing and it's leading you down a path, I would much rather people just get along. And, I like, the whole ideology of, hey, I don't think if you did everything you could and you were the best person on earth, but let's say you maybe never heard, the message of, let's just hypothetically say, whatever God it is or whatever thing that existed. I genuinely don't think that they're just gonna BS on you and be like, no, go to hell because you whatever. I get it. Do what you gotta do. Just whatever. Let people do their own thing. It's a free country. It's I don't care. And I think a lot of people care too much. It's just turned into this dick measuring contest. And I see it this way, I think, like I said, my side's right. I mean, in my own viewpoint, that's what I think. I'm not going to say, other people's is wrong. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to push people, because they're probably thinking my side's screwed up, and I get that. You have to understand, it's a matter of perspective, and I think people aren't getting that nowadays, and, I don't know. That's just my thing. I wish people would get that and realize, hey, we'll figure it out someday, it's, and I look at it this way, if it's meant to be, people will come to what they express, and a lot of, even looking at, a lot of the pagan traditions, kind of going off that, there's a lot of stuff that influenced Christianity and vice versa, You can see, for example, there's a huge philosophy of seeing the Christian God in nature, and just stuff like that, and that's more an ideal that I think gets forgotten. That's very similar. You look at a lot more, those early, kind of beliefs, and a lot of it's nature, a lot of it's, I mean, heck, even look at, if you want to do the Norse stuff, you have a world tree, you have a lot of reference to nature, you have a lot of things around you, and we have to realize, when dealing with these divine things and these things we can't see, a lot of it is only our perspective, and we're going to put into it what is our bias. There's no way I can understand, what the heavens are. That stuff is beyond all of us, and I'm not talking like the space heavens, I'm talking like the spiritual realm. That's very hard to get a grasp of, like, even if you are the master in your field of that. And I don't know, I just think people kind of trying to get a grasp of that. We have certain symbols, we know certain things, we know basic, what life there is to live and different spectrums of that, but we know things, And a lot of it is just trying to keep society in check, and some of that's more loose, some of that's more very hardcore, it is what it is, and people run off symbols, and we put a lot of our own psychological delusion in it, and that's why it gets all screwy. So to anyone who's propagating this, this thing, right? This idea that I'm better than you, you're better than, you're just propagating that symbol. I don't care what side you're on. You're propagating the symbol, and you're making your community look outright hateful. You're not even trying to accommodate others, and it's a problem. That's all I'm going to say, it's a problem. And how good beer? It's been beer and rant, Finish this bad boy off, but it's about what it is. Sure, the bomb will hit, just as it always does. And we're good. So I'll see y'all later.